The love of real estate and serving others runs deep in today's guest. Meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the conference room of the Horry Georgetown Technical College Foundation. We're focused on the foundation. We're visiting with its board chairman, Tom Maeser. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Craig.
Thanks so much for getting in this morning.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's so exciting to think last Thursday we were here in the boardroom, an exciting kickoff of the new year. I think you've just taken over as the chairman of the board.
Right. Our year goes, we'll be ending in March, so this is our first meeting as a new group. We got a lot of new members, and so it was a very exciting meeting.
An amazing turnout, and the folks throughout the community that have been active in the board for as long as they have, to see some folks that have been on the board since the early 80s.
Right, yeah.
And, of course, to see some folks take emeritus status recently and to see the board changing and some of the goals of both in this year and years to come. It's very exciting. How long will your tenure last?
If they don't invite me back as chair, I will probably be through in March, but there's indications that I'll probably continue for another year.
Great.
Because we've got such neat people and neat programs going on right now that the momentum is moving, so hopefully we'll continue.
Very definitely. Share with viewers real quick about the foundation. When we think about foundations that of course, Gary Davis, you've got an executive director
right,
who works with the college and is, I know, very active. And I was so excited to meet with the two of y'all a few weeks back to talk about the foundation. But share with the viewers, give them a little sense of what the foundation's all about.
Okay. The foundation, of course, is set up as a separate entity to provide funding for scholarships and other programs. It's especially important today because of the shift from scholarships. The lottery funds now are really helping in the scholarship area. So the budget cuts with the state have also caused a need for other areas like equipment, buildings, helping students with books, so many other things than just scholarships. So this year we are focusing on kind of a new direction on raising those dollars. The foundation started, I believe it was 1978 here, and it was under the president then was Bill Anderson. And they started with a whopping $4,300. And of course now, just these years later, we just went over $4 million in assets for the foundation. That
is amazing, over about a 25-year period.
Right.
That's incredible. So a heck of a lot of growth.
And of course, a lot of that was initially set up with endowments whereby you can only use interest for scholarships and other programs. So a lot of it is a committed fund. So everything we're doing now, we have to generate new funds for those other new activities.
It's so exciting to think about these two geographically very large counties, the first and fourth largest counties in the state, and to see all the involvement that goes in within these two counties and the college itself.
Well, there are a lot of programs that are specific to the two counties. Hospitality and tourism comes to mind immediately. The culinary arts program is one of the best available. Golf course management is another major program. Then you have all of the required courses and programs within technology that are so big. And I guess what got me so excited about the foundation in this place is that until you really talk to students and see what happens, this place changes lives. And I'm not putting down the four-year colleges or saying that a four-year degree isn't important, because they are, but I think a lot of people go into a four-year college with the idea of becoming an educator or getting into some profession eventually, or when they graduate or go on to graduate work. Here, these students are probably working in the occupation that they're wanting to better themselves in, or they have some situations that demand them to work, and they're trying to get better. And when you hear the stories, a lot of them have children. I think the average age here at the college is about 27 for the students.
Is that right?
Right. So, you know, they're well into families and lives, and it's just so great to see things that happen as a result of being able to help them financially.
And throughout our viewing areas, you know, we've got 5 different technical colleges represented. You remember last time we were together, you and Neil Wilson and Dan Gray were with us at Florence Arlington Tech when we were visiting with all 5 of the schools within just the South Carolina schools within my viewing area, not counting the Lumberton-Laurinburg area. But to think about the impact that the schools make on the communities, it's dramatic.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, this place now has over 5,000 students, and
I saw that.
It's horrendous. What you can tell by trying to find a parking place
right
here. So.
Just today, I think I saw this past year was a 5.6% growth in student population, and then to see the growth within the continuing education. What Dennis Murphy and the group have been doing is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure of the numbers there, but on top of that, you're probably talking, well, I can't even guess, but like 17,000 students that go through continuing education in some form or fashion.
It is remarkable. One of the other great things that Neil Wilson talked about last week at the board meeting was the former Air Base Hospital, which will be converted into a facility which will be training. Who are some of the folks that will be trained in that facility?
I believe they're moving all of the allied health programs in there. So, I mean, there's anything having to do with that health-related area is going to be over there. And I can't remember the square footage, but it should accommodate quite a few departments once they get it going.
One of the things I saw last week in the Charleston Regional Business Journal, front page story was about such a shortage in nursing, albeit all of the school programs are oversubscribed. I mean, there's a huge waiting list in all the schools. To see that need down in Charleston and to know we've got as vibrant a need here and throughout the PD, it's amazing that the opportunity to really expand that program.
And the problem there, of course, is the requirements, so many students per instructor, and the fact that I believe here even there's a 5-year waiting period in some programs, or at least into 2007 before a student can get into it. So,
Now, would that be similar at, let's talk about your more day-to-day profession, Tom. I know you've got the Fortune Academy. Please share with the viewers a little about, for viewers in the PD or Southeast or North Carolina who may not have heard of the Fortune Academy. Obviously, it's so well recognized here, but you're really throughout the state.
Right. We have 12 locations, 10 of which are through the technical colleges around the state. What happened was, well, actually 5 years ago, we were a real estate proprietary school here in Myrtle Beach. There were 2 instructors and an owner. I joined them in 1999, and we decided to look at expanding our capabilities. The timing was correct because real estate was going from a 30-hour pre-licensing program to a 60-hour program. We had written the 60 hours, and so many schools were going, what are we going to do? We got to come up with these courses. We had an opportunity to speak to a meeting of all the technical colleges in Columbia. And what happened was 8 of the colleges decided they would come with Fortune and take on our programs. Well, we went from 1 school, 1 location to 8 overnight.
Wow.
And so now we had to learn all of the bureaucracy that goes on with the tech system. It took a couple of years, but that has worked out. It also allowed us, the model works so well with the technical colleges, with the real estate. We provide the instructor and the materials and all of the licensing and certification through the state. The college provides the registration, the facility, and they collect the money and offer the certificates then when they complete. So it's a beautiful mix. The other thing that helps so much, because timing is everything in all of this, is with the budget cuts that are happening, the colleges had to really cut back on the exact same thing we were offering. So we didn't really want to take on all that overhead with facilities, so the fact they offered the facilities, we had the programs they needed, it was a wonderful match.
What a great marriage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as a result of that, we now are teaching, we have 50 instructors in those locations. We are teaching home inspection, appraisal. We are just entering into the insurance licensing. We are also just entering into the continuing legal education for attorneys, and we've developed a target program here at Ori Georgetown Technical College in banking. It's a 7-course program that we're spearheading. So it's working out very nicely.
That should be very exciting. We had a guest on a couple of weeks ago from the Conway Medical Center Foundation who had been a community banker for 25 years. He talked about a school out in Texas that was for community banking, and I thought, is that something that's still going on? He thought, no, I don't think it's still going on. And then when you mentioned that, banking and professional development and the needs in that area, particularly with so many community banks here in the area. Later this week, we've got a guy in Dalton, Floyd, who has helped set up a Sun Bank here in the area. It's so exciting to think of all the community banks in the area and the real need for those folks to constantly stay on top of things.
Yeah, I believe there's 110 branch banks in the Ori Georgetown area. And, of course, there's probably 12 to 15 majors that control those. But what we found, what we do normally is set up an advisory group, and we bring all of the leaders of that, for example, banking, bring them in and ask them what they need, and then try and develop curriculum to meet that need. And it's really interesting. In all of the areas that we've done, 3 things come out: the customer service, sales and marketing programs, and business management programs. Those 3 areas seem to be consistently asked for. So what we did basically was put together curriculum from those areas and are offering it to the industry then through the technical college.
That is fantastic. Let's talk real quick about yourself, Tom. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm not. I'm from Minnesota, Minneapolis, which is 5 below zero, I believe, today.
Golly, I bet. I can't imagine.
Oh, it's not a fun place to live.
Do you still have family in Minnesota?
My brother and his family and all of my relatives, I was probably one of the only ones to ever leave.
Right. And I think I saw that you, your wife, and your son have all been in the real estate profession for
it's genetic.
30 years, 20-plus years.
My wife and I have been, in 1976, we both entered the real estate business. I was a vocational director at a school system. My son is 34, and he's been in the business in Raleigh for about 3 years now. And so it is definitely a genetic with our family.
And I think exciting to see that you only spent much of your life in 5 different cities, in Minneapolis, then in Des Moines, I believe, before Colorado Springs, then Raleigh. And now Myrtle Beach. You've got a great feeling of the Carolinas now for the tenure there. And, of course, you said your son's still in Raleigh. Is that your only child?
Right.
Right.
Go ahead.
No. It's just exciting, that aspect of real estate on a regular basis. What is it about real estate that's so thrilling?
Well, a lot of things. And, of course, I ended up in the educational side because I've always really enjoyed education. And, of course, I'm not ready to retire, but I'm at that age where you want to start giving back more. But real estate, my wife works at Kingston Plantation, for example, and she has just that community to deal with. It's on site. It allows her a lot of freedom of being able to be. We also live at Kingston, so she lives in the community. She's one of the few agents that'll drive her car for a year and put on 3,500 miles. Because they don't drive that far.
Right.
But it's one that you've got a little freedom of your time, more self-control. With my son, he's basically doing new homes up in Raleigh and just loves it. So we really have enjoyed real estate as a career.
I saw a piece in the paper last week that talked about, there was a quote of, if you're ever going to get in real estate, now's the time, with the housing boom on the Strand and a boom that's really recognized throughout the Southeast or down here on the area. What's that like, knowing that you're in a profession that really a lot of folks either want to get into or want to find a way to get in there?
Well, as an example, we have 116 students in the January pre-license class at just the Fortune location here in Ori Georgetown. It's amazing. I mean, that's a lot of people in 1 month. We will put through about 2,000 students a year through the college here in real estate and related programs. So also, if you look at the economy, this is the first time in the history of our economy that they can pretty well show the housing market is what's driving the economy. The low interest rates, I think the fact that people are a little apprehensive of the stock market, they'd rather invest in something they can touch and feel, and housing certainly is it. Then you look at all the ramifications of housing with the construction side, all the jobs that are involved with that. It really has led the economy through any of the ups and downs in the last 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely, a huge employer for whatever county it is, particularly a booming county. When you think about all those aspects, the home building side, the folks who are helping to move homes,
right,
or even on the leasing side for folks who are just helping people get into a home, and on the first side, that's incredible.
In our market here, I just did the statistics for the Sun News for the fourth quarter this year. Single-family residential was up something like 15%. The condominium market was up about 9%. Our average price here now is $189,000. I mean, you know, for Myrtle Beach, whoever thought that would happen?
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And those can be justified at some level because of the low interest rates, or I mean, that really impacts what folks are doing.
I think another thing about our market is we have a lot of second home purchasers, but the terrorist situation has caused people to want to be at drive-to locations. Myrtle Beach certainly is that. Also, I think that we just have such a beautiful place to live. People, when they come here on vacation, they decide they want to come back, and that helps. So the retiree market is a phenomenal market as well.
Tom, you said you'd hit that age where you're now starting to think about giving back. I think I saw you were the past president of the Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors, past president of the South Carolina Association of Realtors. Surely the other, so many activities. How do you find the time to continue as president of Fortune Academy and now the chairman of the board for Horry Georgetown Technical College Foundation? How do you find the time?
Well, I think you can look at all of these things as just part of your job. I look at a career as a lifestyle, not a job. And I think that all of the things that people have given to us over the years that have helped us grow, we will be able to give back so much more because of our growth. And I don't separate the two. I think the involvement with the college, the involvement with the Realtor Association and other associations is just part of being in business. Mm-hmm. So it's just part of the daily routine. And I personally have an employer who allows me the luxury of taking time to do that because we've seen it come back and benefit us all. It doesn't just help us grow. I think it helps us learn much more about the community. It helps us to create programs that will help better meet the needs of the community. So it's exciting to be involved with those things.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Let's go back early on, if you don't mind, real quick, back to Minneapolis. I saw after you finished school, you'd studied education and vocational administration. That aspect of later, then teaching in the Minneapolis school districts. What were you teaching?
I was teaching a course called Distributive Education. It's a sales and marketing program where students work part-time and go to school part-time. And it was in the vocational education department, and then I eventually took over and ran that department with like office education and trades and industry, they called it at that time. So, and that was just prior to getting into the real estate business.
Mm-hmm. And I saw after 76, after you all had originally gotten involved, you said you and your wife got involved in the same time. Did you all work together on a regular basis?
I started first. She got her license about the same time, and I went to work for a company that did mostly corporate relocation. We would move corporate families as they got transferred. Minneapolis had a lot of corporate headquarters there. And my wife was doing some feasibility study work for the condominium industry there. And so we were in different careers there. Then I moved to Des Moines, Iowa, became Vice President of Marketing for Better Homes and Gardens when they started a national real estate franchise. And so she was involved in her same job as she had before there. Then we moved to Colorado Springs where we bought a real estate company. We bought a Better Homes and Gardens company. A friend of ours owned it and was getting ready to retire. And so she oversaw our relocation department there and very much involved with marketing. So we got to work together for about 4 or 5 years.
How exciting. When you all got down here, were you all working together there at Kingston?
No, I was general manager of Leonard Call and Associates Residential Division, and she was, Leonard Call, of course, has the facility at Kingston. She was on-site sales there. So though it was same company, 2 different locations.
And how about Better Homes and Gardens? Do they still have that national franchise? I mean, do they still have the real estate division?
They, about 2 years ago, they sold the whole thing to GMAC. So now GMAC runs the old Better Homes and Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened, the magazine, of course, Better Homes and Gardens was home life and family living, and they had 8 million subscribers. I think as the real estate grew, philosophically they didn't fit together, and as a result they sold it to GMAC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When we think about the foundation board and some of the goals going forward, can you share with the viewers a little about some of the prime goals in the foreseeable future, whether you're reappointed as board chairman in March or stay on in that position? Just some of the goals, if you could share with the viewers.
Well, it's really exciting. Again, this is the first time we've had to look at something other than scholarships, and we decided, we had a retreat back in October, and it was decided we'd focus on 3 areas. One would be campaigns, which basically we focused in on 4. The allied health programs, we wanted to raise money for that. We had a student loan program for books, because books now cost probably half the tuition. I mean, they're getting way up there, and so students need a lot of help with that. Distant learning labs, we wanted to set up another distant learning lab for the college. And the other areas, we wanted to pick a new program and help it get started within the college, and I think we pledged $150,000 to get a new program going, and we're talking in the pharmaceutical area right now as that being the program. So those are the 4 campaigns we're going to focus on, and that total commitment is about $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a public relations arm that we've set up, and the group is really working hard to get us better known in the community. A lot of people don't know there is a foundation. A lot of people don't know the good that it does for the community. Plus, we're competing with a lot of other foundations, so we want to make sure they understand us. Planned giving, for example, it's a major area where people, if they would think of this college in their wills and in their trusts, that they're able to do a lot of neat things with their finances by recognizing the college and leaving us in the will and whatever, and so we're going to focus there. And then one of the big areas was follow up with our existing donors and adding really good people to the board to expand it to the areas that the college serves in the community. Mm-hmm. So, for example, President Wilson, his lovely wife Ian, is going to be hosting some teas for the donors, and we're going to make sure they know that we really appreciate all that they've done for the college.
Great, absolutely. It's so important when those donors, and oftentimes a donor can make a gift directly to a program, and essentially the funds can just pass through the foundation. The foundation can help oversee that. Is that a pretty regular occurrence? Is that something that you all encourage?
We've seen some of that. It was very interesting that, in fact, the college received a recent gift that was pretty substantial from a family that moved here, had no children, but because the attorney doing the estate was aware of the foundation, they left us a lot of dollars because of the good that the college does in the community. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we're seeing more and more of that, and I think it's an awareness thing. We've got to let people know that we are here.
Absolutely. There must be so many groups that really want to find a way to give back. I think about groups like the medical institutions here in the area, all the different hospitals, of knowing the importance of the allied health, or surely that aspect of the nursing programs, getting those into their institutions. It's so vital to really help those folks recognize there is a vehicle for them to give back to the college.
Absolutely, and that's another goal is getting to the doctors in the community and the pharmacists and the others that are involved with medical to help us build that campaign to where we can actually do some good here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When we think about those aspects of getting out into the community, and surely your ability and through the Fortune Academy and seeing that many students on a regular basis just here in Horry County, you said this semester there were 116 students in the program?
In just real estate for this month.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How have the new programs kicked off, Tom? Have those been received pretty popularly?
They have. We just started the banking program. We have 10 students in that from probably about 2/3 are from banks, and the others are students interested in banking as a career. So for a first kickoff program, that's acceptable. We just started the insurance. We're just getting into their continuing ed season. We just got the courses approved, and we'll be doing pre-license and continuing ed for insurance, so I don't have any numbers yet on that. That program starts in February, towards the end of February. But we've also started the professional growth courses in real estate, because there's the licensing side, and then there's all right, now I got my license, how do I honestly sell houses?
Right.
And we started a designation program. It's certified consultant for real estate for experienced agent. We had 18 people in that course last month. We've got another course for brand new agents that's non-continuing ed credit, and we've got 10 people in that for this month. So they're going well.
Real quick, Tom, if you wanted to learn about the Fortune Academy or so many of the programs you all are offering, or of course the foundation, could they call you there at the Fortune Academy? What's the best number?
If you're out of the area, 800-922-2245, and in the area, it is 839-1131.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for being with us. 38 years married to the same woman. Real estate runs through their veins, not only Tom, but his wife and their only son, all in real estate. That exciting aspect of life, bringing folks into a home for the first time, and the ability now to give back to the community. Tom, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Tom Maeser and all the foundation board members, as well as all the staff, faculty, and students at Horry Georgetown Technical College for making today's Carolina People so special.